Do you guys kind of agree with him? Do you guys think that he goes after kind of a big fish, or do you think he settles potentially this upcoming coaching cycle?
I don't think he'll settle. I think he will try to go after a big fish. And I think Bill Belichick does make sense. I'm not saying like from my opinion, I'm saying Shad Khan, looking at his relationships, looking at what he's going to be trying to identify, and Bill Belichick, Diana Rossini said it, has his eyes on Jacksonville right now. Like, he's interested. You got the quarterback. You got a lot of pieces. You got salary cap space. You got draft capital. You got an owner who is very, very patient, to say the least, and an owner that's willing to write a lot of big numbers on a paycheck. And, you know, other than age, which obviously is a factor, there's only one actual football part of the Bill Belichick hiring that scares me. It's not his ability to coach. It's not his ability to coach the defense side of the ball. It's what he would do on offense. So before I could sign off on Bill Belichick, I would have to know like who is running the offense.
So is Bill Belichick, when he was with the Patriots, I mean, I imagine he was very, very involved in the offense. Do you think,
Yeah.
I mean, was a lot of it him, or did he give a lot of power to the court? Because that's what's kind of tricky with Bill Belichick, because he had so much control. Obviously, he was basically the GM. He was the GM of the Patriots, and I imagine he had his toes into every single position group. Do you think that he will have a lot of control of this offense if he comes here?
I mean,
I think
if you've seen anything on Bill Belichick, he's extremely involved in every aspect of the game. He's obsessed with football. He's obsessed with the details of the game. And I know I get the sentiment that people don't want Bill Belichick because he's older. And I think it's more because most people just want like a younger guy, which I get. But I'm all on board for Bill Belichick. I mean, this team, this franchise has a history of a losing culture. They're, like we've said, no accountability, no culture, no mindset. Bill Belichick is anti all of the things that we have been for decades. You bring Bill Belichick in, he immediately changes the culture. He immediately holds people accountable. I was watching a documentary on Tom Brady, and they were interviewing players on the Patriots, and they said Bill Belichick was hardest on Tom Brady than any other player and would like chew his ass out every single film room. Like, that's what we need. We need a guy that's going to hold our best players accountable. And we're paying Josh Allen. We're paying Tyson Campbell. Even you can lump a Lucan in there. A lot of money for their positions. And you're telling me one of those guys can't step up and make one play against the Lions? One singular play to get us the ball back or to stop a third down? Like, that's accountability, because we know the talent's there. But you're paying those guys way too much money at three positions at the different levels of the defense for the Lions to score every single possession. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just unexcusable to me. I think there's a chance that Belichick can come in. He could probably bring Vrabel with him, which is another guy that I love. So you bring in Vrabel and Belichick, and like, I think they'll figure it out. So, and to everyone that's like, no, we don't go that direction. Like, what's the worst that could happen? We're about to pick first 3 out of the last 5 years. It can't get much worse than this. So why not give a shot to the greatest coach of all time? That's all. That would be my only argument.
Do you get at all worried though about if his current style of coaching is something that will resonate with players right now? Because I mean, we had Tom Coughlin, who was kind of hard ass in there, and I think things went a little bit sideways, maybe just because that 3-headed trio just was a little bit too awkward, and because not a lot of teams have the EVP. Like, do you think his coaching style is something that can fit in the NFL?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll let Jordan comment on it. I mean, I think you talk to any players, they hated playing for him in the moment, but everyone that's looked back was like the greatest coach you've ever had. So, I mean, I think something speaks to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this locker room, the guys that are currently here, would welcome somebody that would bring that type of accountability every single day. And it's not just him demanding of you. He's not asking anything from anyone that he's not giving himself. Like, Bill Belichick is meticulous. He is so hard work. Like, and you look at him on all these different shows that he's on and the way he breaks down the game. I mean, he's still got it. Like, he's still sharp as a tack. And I know a lot of people I've criticized what they did offensively at the end of the line there with the Patriots, and rightfully so, and everybody talks about, oh, he can't be the GM. You look through the Patriots drafts with him as general manager. Is it perfect? No, but there's a lot more hits than there have been in Jacksonville. So maybe he's not going to be the GM wherever he lands, but he's going to have a lot of control. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
The two arguments I just want to quickly debunk that Belichick gets all the time is that he couldn't draft well, because everyone's like, oh, Tom Brady on the offense. Well, there's an entire side of the ball that Tom Brady never took a snap on, and Brady drafted all those guys and signed all those guys. And those defenses were good year after year after year. And then the argument that he only went with Tom Brady, he only had 4 years, four full years without Tom Brady. One of them, he won 11 games with Matt Castle. A second one, he won 10 games with Mac Jones. And then he had 2 seasons where he didn't do well. So he only had 2 bad seasons without Tom Brady and 2 good seasons without Tom Brady. So I don't buy into this. He only won because of Brady.
And it's also like, it was easy to blame the coaching staff with what happened over the last couple years in New England offensively. I'll tell you what, look at what those quarterbacks that he had to work with are doing now. And obviously he drafted Mac Jones, so I mean, that's partially his fault, but Mac Jones has played horrible. And Bailey Zappi, he's probably on a practice squad somewhere. Maybe it wasn't just the coaching, right? And you don't have to worry about quarterback here. You have your quarterback locked in till like 2030. So again, I'm not saying that he's my number one candidate, but I see why it would be appealing to Shad Khan. And I think anybody who just writes it off as like ridiculous, I don't understand how you could look at it that way. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And he would be on my short list.
You guys are definitely selling me on it. I think one thing, if I'm speaking for Jaguar fans, I think a lot of people see like, oh well, 2 of our last 3 hires have been retreads, and I don't know if I think they sit here and they say, I know the pulse. What people are saying is, oh, we want to go out there and get the next young guy, because obviously they see the Shanahan tree going crazy, McVay tree going crazy. So I think a lot of people potentially want that as opposed to getting an old curmudgeon in here. But I mean, you guys are definitely selling me on it. I would definitely
a retread that has 300 wins.
I mean, our last retread beat him in the Super Bowl.
There you go.
So there's no, I mean,
he is 302 wins and 165 losses in the regular season. His playoff record is 31-13.
Yeah.
He did a lot of that. I mean, most of it was with Brady, obviously, but there's enough of a resume without Brady to say pretty damn good coach. And you can also sit here and say the defense fell off without him this year. Now, they have had some injuries. Barmore's been out, but that defense is not what it was when he was there. So I think that he would do a tremendous job getting the defense in a good place. And if you get the Jaguars defense in a good place, what does that do for Trevor? I mean, tell him all you got to do is score 14, 20 points a game and we're going to win. He's never had that experience in his NFL career.
And I think everyone would agree, like, we have the talent on this team. Like, we're not some scrub team with no talent. We just need someone that'll hold them accountable and bench them if they don't do well and not rotate them in no matter who's out there. We need someone who's going to hold these people's feet to the fire, chew their asses out in the film room, and get on them to execute, which is what this team needs to do. The talent's there. They're just inconsistent. So if we can get a coach in here that can get them to be consistent, this team could be as good as it was in 2022 at the beginning of 2023.
And you almost wonder, like, with where Bill Belichick is right now, I wonder if he's starting to assess all the head coach openings that will take place. I almost wonder if he takes some calls, because obviously he's not just going to accept any old job that comes up. Whatever his next head coaching job will be, it will be his last head coaching job. So I almost wonder if he's going to try to pick a spot, and if he sees Jacksonville and he gives Shad Khan a good old call. I think sometimes it's easy to win over Shad Khan. I mean, Trent Baalke's done it. Urban Meyer's done it. So I wonder if he could potentially do that. And I do think that, you guys make some good points. I think Shad Khan could potentially fall in love with something like that. And obviously he has a resume. There's no putting that down. And I know people will say all different kinds of things and do anything they can to diminish the record that he has and the success that he has. But you don't, ordinary coaches and average middle of the road coaches don't go on and win 5-6 Super Bowls, however much he has. So it's definitely impressive stuff. Six. He's won 6, but I think he won 2 when he was a part of the Giants or something, as a DC or somewhere.
Yeah,
he has 2 rings as a DC somewhere, but nevertheless.
Not
so what do you
bad.
guys think?